Ever wondered what keeps our digital world running smoothly?
Interesting question.
Because, we depend on technology for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to think about what happens when those machines, well, they go haywire?
Right, right.
That's where the meticulous work of a calibration technician comes in.
Exactly.
And today we're doing a deep dive into this often overlooked profession.
Yeah,
And let me tell you, the source material you found on RoleCatcher, it's really fascinating.
it is. Yeah. It's really interesting stuff. Most people, I think, don't realize that calibration technicians, they're like the unsung heroes, making sure everything's accurate and safe across so many different industries.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. Paint a picture for us. What does a calibration technician actually do every day?
Okay, imagine like a really high-stakes scenario,
Okay.
like a hospital operating room.
Okay.
And a surgeon is relying on a robotic arm to make these super precise movements during like a really delicate procedure.
Yeah.
Now, if that arm isn't calibrated correctly,
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
the consequences, they could be, disastrous.
Yeah.
And calibration technicians are the ones who make sure that never happens.
Wow.
They're responsible for testing and adjusting and then certifying the accuracy of all kinds of equipment. We're talking medical devices, manufacturing robots, even airplane navigation systems.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, the impact they have
Right.
on all these critical parts of our lives.
It's a big responsibility.
And you mentioned robots. The RoleCatcher material, it touches on how technology is, well, it's changing their work, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about, calibrating simple hand tools anymore.
No, not at all.
Is it?
As technology gets more advanced, so does the calibration technician's job. It's way more complex. We're talking about working with really intricate machinery, sophisticated software, and the measurements. Forget about it. They have to be extremely precise.
Wow.
For example, they might use something called a laser interferometer to calibrate the movement of a robotic arm down to the nanometer.
Wow. That's incredibly precise.
It has to be.
Yeah. And the guide, it specifically mentions that calibration technicians, they need to be well-versed in blueprints, technical drawings, specialized software, all of that.
Right. And, that actually brings up something that people often get wrong about this field.
What's that?
Some people think that all this automation is going to eliminate the need for these technicians.
Oh, interesting.
But it's actually the opposite.
The opposite? How so?
Think about it. The more we depend on these automated systems,
Yeah.
the more we're going to need skilled professionals to keep them in check.
Oh, that makes sense.
And that demand, it's only going to grow.
So it's not just about turning knobs anymore.
No, not at all.
It's about really understanding these systems, right?
Yeah.
And using advanced technology to ensure that accuracy.
And it's not just about accuracy. It's about taking it to a whole new level.
Right, because the stakes are so much higher now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why this is translating into a really promising job market for people who are thinking about this as a career.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher highlights this. They talk about that growing demand, and they say the salary, it's competitive. You can really earn a good living as a skilled calibration technician.
Okay, but hold on, because this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, forgetting about the whole making sure robots don't, go rogue in surgery aspect,
Right.
which is cool enough on its own, let's be real.
Right, of course, yeah.
This career path, it seems like it offers a lot of room for growth, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Like, what does RoleCatcher say about that specifically?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely room for growth, no question. As you get more experience, you become more of an expert. You can move into more, specialized roles.
All right.
You can even end up leading a whole team of technicians.
Wow.
And because this field, it touches on so many different industries,
Right.
you can even move into a totally different sector if you wanted to, if your interests change later on.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That kind of flexibility is huge these days.
it is.
But okay, let's be real for a second.
Sure.
No job is perfect, right?
Right.
RoleCatcher, they have that pros and cons section,
They do, yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
What are some of the downsides?
Yeah, it's important to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I mean, the guide mentions that you might have to work in some pretty noisy environments.
Oh, okay.
Depends on the specific role, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you might have to deal with hazardous materials sometimes.
Oh.
And you might have to be on call for emergencies, or you might even have to travel to different locations to do calibrations.
Right.
It's not always, glamorous.
I was going to say, it's not all, robots and lasers all the time.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But for the right person, someone who really likes to solve problems and likes to work with their hands and likes knowing that their work really matters, like it has a real impact on keeping people safe
Right.
and making things run efficiently, it can be a really rewarding career, very rewarding.
Yeah, you can really make a difference.
You can, definitely.
So, okay, let's say someone's listening to this right now and they're thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, sign me up. But where do they even begin?
Right.
And the good thing is, RoleCatcher, they don't just describe jobs, right?
No, they don't.
They have tools to actually help people get those jobs.
They do, yeah.
What stood out to you about their approach?
You know what I thought was really interesting? They're using AI to give job seekers an edge, like a real advantage over other people.
Oh, okay, how so?
So they have this huge database of practice interview questions. Over 120,000 of them,
Wow.
which is a lot of questions.
That's a lot, yeah.
But here's the thing. Their AI actually looks at the job description, and then it tailors the questions to exactly what the employer is looking for.
Wait, so it's not just about practicing how to answer interview questions in general. It's about understanding what each employer actually cares about.
That's it, yeah. You see, with more and more companies using these automated systems to screen people, you have to make sure that your resume and your answers, they're speaking directly to those systems. And that's what RoleCatcher helps you do.
That's really smart. It's like having like a secret weapon or something
Right.
in this like super competitive job market.
It is super competitive.
And it's not just about the interview prep though, is it? They also help you with like your actual resume.
They do, yeah.
How does that work?
They have this AI engine, and it looks at your resume, and it figures out if you're missing any keywords or skills that might be important. Things that might be keeping you from getting noticed by those automated systems.
Right, right.
And for a field like calibration technicians, where there's so much demand,
Yeah.
getting your resume to the top of the pile, that's essential.
Absolutely, you got to stand out.
You do.
So we've talked about the technical skills.
Right.
We've talked about how much demand there is.
Yeah.
Even talked about the tools that can help someone get into the field.
Yeah.
But what about like the less tangible stuff?
Oh, interesting.
Like what kind of person excels as a calibration technician?
That is a great question.
What kind of characteristics would make someone really good at this?
Well, obviously you need the technical skills. That's a given.
Right, of course.
But RoleCatcher, they really emphasize how important those soft skills are, too.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What do they mean by soft skills in this context?
Things like paying attention to detail,
Okay.
being really meticulous,
Okay.
being patient.
Right. So it's not just about knowing how to use the tools. It's about having the right, like, temperament and approach. It's
Exactly.
almost like being a good detective in a way.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. Someone who's really curious and thorough, and they're able to spot things that other people might miss. Little inconsistencies, things like that.
Yeah, they don't just jump to conclusions. They're very, very methodical.
Exactly. And, you know, you might not put those things on a resume,
Right.
but those qualities, they can really make all the difference.
Because you could be the most technically skilled person out there,
Right.
but if you're rushing or if you get easily frustrated when things get complicated,
Right.
you're not going to thrive in this kind of role.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
have to have the right mindset.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's really interesting to me how these softer skills, they're becoming even more important as technology keeps advancing.
Absolutely. It's true. In a world where we've got AI and automation, you know, taking over all the routine stuff,
Right.
it's those, you know, those uniquely human traits, the critical thinking, being able to adapt to new situations.
Right. Right.
That's what's becoming really valuable.
Yeah, those are the things that are harder to program into a machine, at least for now.
Exactly. A machine can follow a program, no problem.
Right.
But it's a human who can, like, step back and say, hold on a second, something's not right here.
Right. That's the intuition part.
Yeah, troubleshoot those unexpected problems. Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that the technology is doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Safely, effectively, all of that.
It's like that extra layer of, I don't know, judgment that
Yeah.
machines haven't quite figured out yet.
Exactly. And that's what employers, they're looking for that.
They want the whole package.
They do. RoleCatcher even mentioned that companies are using their platform for something they call reverse matching.
Reverse matching, what is that?
So instead of just, you know, looking for a specific skill on a resume,
Right.
they're looking for people who have those, you know, those harder to quantify skills, the
Yeah.
soft skills.
So it's almost like having a strong work ethic or being a good communicator or even just having a genuine curiosity about how things work.
Yeah, all of that.
That's becoming as important as, like, technical certifications.
It really is.
It's interesting how those things are all connected.
They are.
It's not just about, being a robot yourself.
Right.
You have to have that human element too.
You do. And those qualities, when you combine them with those technical skills, that's what makes someone really stand out.
Right. We're not just filling a job, you're actually excelling in that role.
Exactly.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating, right?
It is, yeah.
We're not just like looking at a job description here.
Good.
We're talking about what it really takes to be successful.
Right. What makes someone truly indispensable in this tech-driven world that we're living in?
It's a good reminder that even though technology is always changing, there are certain skills, certain qualities that never go out of style.
And that's a good way to put it. And in fact, maybe they become even more important, right?
Right, because everything else is changing so fast.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great.
Yeah, it has.
A really fascinating look at the world of calibration technicians.
It's a really interesting field.
It is, and it sounds like it has a pretty bright future.
Oh, definitely. It was a pleasure diving into it with you today.
Likewise. And there you have it, folks. We took a deep dive into the world of calibration technicians, explored their importance across various industries, how technology is changing their work, and even how AI is impacting the way people prepare for these in-demand jobs. But as we've discovered, it takes more than just technical prowess to excel in this field. It's a blend of precision, problem-solving skills, and a passion for keeping the wheels turning in our increasingly complex world. Until next time, stay curious, keep asking questions, and remember, sometimes the most impactful work happens behind the scenes.